Welcome to your magical moon message. This is the Peace Dealer. May the truth be with you. Shout out to Blue Flame Integration. She already knows what time it is. I just want, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I want to just send honor to all the legitimate astrologers out here. You have to understand, like, our craft is seen as bullshit. People don't take us seriously. So, it's just all the more amazing and dutiful when we hold true to our interpretations. When I do these transits, these are not postulation. This is an opinion. I've been doing this shit for years. Like, I put my life into this. I make a living doing this. So, shout out to y'all, myself included. If you've been watching me, okay, InfoWars, if you've been watching me for like a good amount of time, when we told you Uranus was in Taurus and the stock market is going to go through a crash, it happened. When we told you that Pluto, there's videos, live videos of me 2017, 2018 detailing Pluto at the end of Capricorn and mentioning government shutdowns and, things kind of falling apart before a pandemic was even mentioned. And I know I'm not the only astrologer doing this, so I really just want to take this time out to just honor and respect all of you who unfailingly stay true and do your job and interpret it, because it's our job to reflect the culture and the times as an artist, and to be able to use the transits to do this. Cool. So long before there were talks in the news of Ukraine and Russia, that I have been saying exclusively in these magical moon messages and transit talks. I hope you guys are ready for war. I hope you guys are ready for war. Okay. I referenced Mars coming back into Capricorn March 20th, 2021. We had the beginning of the apocalypse cycle. Sorry, March 21st, 2020. We had the beginning of the apocalypse cycle with Mars in Cap, Saturn in Cap, Jupiter in Cap, Pluto in Cap. You can go back to an Affirmous or planetwatcher.com. Shout out to Kirk Kahn, the genius who made that. And, the planets are there. The receipts, baby, are there. So, my bad. It's been 2 years since Mars has come back around to Capricorn, do-si-doing and crip walking past Pluto with Venus in a literal war field. I put this in a previous video. This is a stark contrast to the World War I days where, families would literally make up, get together, let's go watch people kill each other. And they realize, no, that's not what you do in fucking war. But yes, it is what it is. Because, look, you are hearing this exaggerated, propaganda filled news talking about, oh, this may be the greatest war that you may ever say. Oh, Europe may never know peace again. And I'm like, see how the news just be exaggerating shit? Because they have to pace your experience of events. There's millions of dollars spent so that collective broadcast journalism outlets can pace your understanding of the experience. There's money in that. We need to be the ones that shape how you think so that we can control what you do in these times. And this is why I'm saying you have to know yourself, because if you're letting these organizations dictate how you perceive things, you're in hot water. You are in trouble. Okay, so pestilence has shown its face. Mars is coming back around after 2 years of touring. Ever since it toured, we saw it go through Pisces. There was an autonomous zone, all right, with the BLM protests. We saw it go through Aries, and since, in between there was so much protests and riots. I shit you not. Then it went into Taurus. We had the Capitol Hill incident. Then as it was going past Cancer and touring through the zodiac, we had issues with the Middle East. Okay, we had issues with the Taliban in Afghanistan. Okay, so war has been setting up slowly but surely. So for it to come back, and astrologers like myself have been saying, look, Don't be surprised if war kicks off. You've heard this. You heard Candace and I speak on this in the Midheaven podcast. Don't be surprised if war kicks off. And now, of course, media headlines are going crazy about Russia has invaded Ukraine. So this is going to be so counterintuitive. You've been hearing me and other people say war, war, war. Don't expect war from this conflict. If anything, this Russia or Ukraine conflict, there's the seeds that can potentially lead to a World War III. But I'm letting you know right now, not that I have any specific intel outside of what I read from the stars, but what the media is reporting to you is a lot more exaggerated than what is actually really happening. No matter who's fight, I'm not saying that it's not a pressing issue. I'm not saying that soldiers aren't dying. Just be very careful about how you're paced to react to these experiences, because this is just meant to influence you to take action. Remember that the war has been raging on despite what theaters you see by these productions in the news. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take it seriously. I'm just saying take it seriously with a grain of salt. Okay? Because the real newscasters been told you that what was going to happen. What's that? What's that? What's that? And shout out to Russia. Y'all some motherfucking gangsters. Let's get it. Let's get it. Okay? I'm impartial. I'm not taking sides about this, but I know that these things have to happen. All these things that you might think are bad and or good, they have to happen to fulfill prophecy, to fulfill these cycles. So I wanted to preface this whole transit talk with war, because now the moon is in Sag and it's 10th house to the Pisces, and this ascended fashion of Divinity is going to literally change the game coming into next week, where we have the game-changing new moon. So much changes in how we look at our collective world theater are happening right now. And so once again, the moon is square Neptune. You're going to see things, moon in Sag, receptivity to vision and sight that may shock you to your core, may inspire preemptive action, when really you want to be mindful and wait for the smoke to clear. Because with that moon square Neptune, you can't really trust what you're seeing. You can't really trust if what you're seeing is fabricated, doctored, fake. Even if it's verified on the spot, the interpretation of such an experience or visual can be very misleading. So take at first glance intuitively what you're led to take, but don't necessarily let external events dictate how you feel inside. You may feel different from what the rhetoric wants you to feel and act, okay? Because things are going to really accelerate out of motherfucking control. Welcome to America's Pluto return. And like, you've been prepared for this. The reason why I want to really give the impression that things are picking up is because war has returned. We have a Mars return since 2020, and that's kicking off war in the theater. Famine follows war, and then your boy Big D. Shout out to the fourth horseman of the apocalypse. So I'm saying this because in Capricorn, it's all orchestrated, it's all planned, it's all manufactured. And this isn't necessarily for me to sound too woke. This isn't necessarily for me to act like I know more than I know. This is why I started this video saying I'm not the only one who's really been sound blasting the truth. Like, there are people who don't know their way around the chart or astrology at all, but they've been able to tell, that this is going to happen. So whatever craft you are, honor to you, because you're a light post, you're a leader, you're someone who's guiding people through this times of how to perceive this. And it's going to be a lot more crucial as we step into the Pisces new moon, this third quarter square. Coming into the moon in Capricorn is going to kick off a gauntlet and a series of events that will really test how much growth, patience, wisdom you've gained over these 2 years, okay? Don't necessarily let a hype or pandemonium really influence you, because I'm just going to let you know right now, as crazy as things are occurring, they're not necessarily going to be as bad as you think. Even the prospect of all-out war, which is more a necessary evil that has to happen anyway. So allow yourself, don't take my word for it, allow yourself to really see that, and don't let the media pace you. Please, 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 because there's a perception that they want you to see this at, where you're now worried or afraid. Like, if you're not careful, you may start looking at the hero as the villain. Do you see what I'm getting at here? Okay, especially coming from an administration that, got to where it's at through shady means. Whether you believe that or not, you can say that's just an opinion of mine, but just keep that third eye open and listen with your heart, and not really, with what people persuade you to believe. Outside of that, this is purely collective energy. Sag is collective, Pisces is collective. You are getting ready to witness with the rest of the collective the turning of the wheel as America kicks off its Pluto return. And because America has its hand in every country and territory, we're going to see the effects of this throughout the next 17 years through the revolution of the individual as we build a new social environment with rules post 2030 of Saturn, Uranus, and Gemini, where we're entering in a paperless society with advanced technology. So my message for you is to please do not get distracted. They did this with pestilence. Like, seriously, as crazy as they exaggerated this pandemic, it was horrible, which took a lot of people's lives, but it was not a black plague. You know what I'm saying? Like, the media exaggerated things to be way worse than it really was, and then gaslighted you to basically define what it is. Okay? Don't think that war is going to be any different. Please. I can already see some people taking too seriously what they heard from news headlines. Make sure any actions you're taking based off that is from people you know in that country, all right? Because they're your primary source. I don't care what CNN has to say about the war, even though they're going to have a lot much more credible information. I won't deny that. I also know that they be lying their ass off. So regardless, I would feel more comfortable with someone who lives in Ukraine giving you the field report. It may mirror identical what you hear from mainstream media, but just make sure you take everything that you hear with a grain of salt. Other than that, I don't want to talk too much about current events, and this is the most that I'll really speak on that. And that's a lie because this is about to be crazy current events coming up. But this transit is much more pivotal for the ascension of the perception around your transcendent ability and your superpowers. The onion and layers around you are peeling away. The defenses that you've had your whole life that have had you fight battles to protect yourself are no longer needed. You're leveling up out of them. The sun is reaching Jupiter. Things are about to be blown out of proportion. And these experiences are going to show you how much you've ascended and grown, how much you've grown out of old habits, old desires, old needs. And you need to allow yourself in this transition stage to evolve to the next level. You're going to be receptive to ways to perceive how you experience the higher quality of your mind and philosophy to actually live out in your lifestyle and to develop a new attitude and to complete the attitude of this transcendence that constitutes your thinking patterns. Because a transit like this is going to have you see Sagittarius moon into divine change, Pisces sun, near instantly real time Uranus and Taurus, with just your decision, Mars and Venus in motherfucking Capricorn, to step into your greatest power and act off on there without the need to see any results beforehand. That's called motherfucking faith, baby. Neptune and Pisces. Okay. You have the keys to enter your own adventure. All right. And this is going to transcend a lot of the limits that you have allowed limiting thoughts and beliefs to chain you through. But the catch is you have to come out your comfort zone completely. And this might be really uncomfortable for some people. And this might really push a lot of other people to challenge how well you stand by those convictions. And for those of you who are willing to actually stand up by them and speak out, you're breaking through just by doing that. Let this transit just kind of release the need to prove what you think and believe, because you're living it, so you're showing it. Okay. And other than that, you're going to really be guided into new ways to take action. So let this perception initiate you. And then when the moon is in Cap, you'll take that cardinal action as we go down the gauntlet. And nothing will ever be the same ever again. This is a wild moon. I wanted to save this for the beginning of the video, but before you let somebody barrage you with unsolicited opinions or to just antagonize you for no reason, ask yourself this one question. Did they even offer to suck your dick? This is not a joke. And if they didn't, just remark the audacity. Don't let anybody play you. No one's gonna offer to at least suck your dick. Let them mind their business. Godspeed. Peace.